We left off Tofresh Pei Beis, page 295. Kol Shmar Shemei Chanukah Ome Al Hanisim. Right? We say Al Hanisim. The Birchas Hamazon, the Birchas Oretz. And where do we insert it? In Birchas Hamazon, right? Right after we say No de L'cho, we say Al Hanisim. Because giving thanks. Ubit Tfilah, in Shmon Esrei, Birchas Modim. After we finish Modim, we say Al Hanisim. Vimlo Omar, what happens if a person forgot to say Al Hanisim? Emar Zir Nosa. One does not have to repeat. Does not have to repeat the benching. Does not have to repeat the Shmon Esrei. Well, just a little bit of review. What's the halacha? We just had Rosh Chodesh Shabbos. What's the name? Chol Hamoed Shabbos, right? So you had Ritzei with Yalav Yavo. You forget to say Ritzei in benching on Shabbos. What's the halacha? It depends. Depends if it's the first two sudas or the third suda. Third suda, because you could be yotzu without washing, without eating bread, one doesn't repeat the Birchas Hamazon. Okay? What happened if you left out Yalav Yavo? Right? The first and second suda, you don't repeat. Because you only repeat if there's a chi of suda. If there's an obligation to eat a suda, then you have to repeat. So since Chol Hamoed doesn't obligate you to eat a suda, right? So you're only saying Yalav Yavo because of Pesach. During Chol Hamoed, you're not obligated to wash for a meal. So therefore, the Yalav Yavo, if you should forget during Yom Tov, if you forget the Yalav Yavo during those two meals, then you have to repeat the Birchas Hamazon. But since on Chol Hamoed you have no obligation to eat the suda, so if you omit that, you don't have to repeat it. But Ritzei, that you do have an obligation to eat the first and second suda, bread. Therefore, if you omit the Ritzei, you have to repeat the benching. No, then you repeat it. No, same thing. There's no chiv suda. You're ready with yotzi two sudas. You yotzi two, right? So the same thing. So on Chanukah, there's no obligation to eat a suda. There's no chiv suda. So if you forget to say Al Hanisim, it's understood. What doesn't have to? It's no worse than Yalav Yavo. Okay, I'm just saying for benching it's easy because it's no worse than Yalav Yavo on a Yom Tiv. That right in Yom Tiv, the answer is because everything's contingent on what is there an obligation to eat the meal or not. What about Shmon Esrei? Right, it's an insertion. You're supposed to say it, but yet we're saying for Shmon Esrei, if you omit Al Hanisim, also one does not have to repeat the Shmon Esrei. Yalav Yavo, you have to repeat it. The Gemara says in Brochos, if you forget Yalav Yavo Rosh Chodesh at night, one doesn't have to repeat. Why? Because during the time when they would declare the new moon, it was always during the daytime. So at nighttime, people didn't know yet whether the day would be Rosh Chodesh or not. So the Gemara says, what if it's second night? The Gemara asks the question. The Gemara says, because we don't differentiate between first and second night. That's the reason. As the first night not, the second night the same thing. No, it does not because it's not. We don't differentiate. Okay? So that's the reason. Really you should, but not to differentiate first and second night, therefore, even if you forget it the second night, one doesn't have to repeat it. Okay? But we have to say, what about Al Hanisim? Al Hanisim says in V'oma Imazir Noso Mirim Niskar Ba'osa Brocho. What about you forget you started V'chol Acham Yidu Chaselo and you didn't conclude Baruch Hashem Atov Shimchon Chonolodos. You didn't conclude it, and you realize right you say Baruch, and then you realize you didn't say Al Hanisim. So the Mechaber says then you go back. Then you do go back and you say Al Hanisim. Mirim Niskar Ba'osa Brocho Kos Mashlu Hisk Es Hashem. You already said Baruch Ator. You didn't say Hashem. At that point, I feel Niska Bein Ator Hashem Choser. It's interesting here, right? Because the halacha is on Rosh Chodesh. What's the halacha? You forget to say Yalav Yavo, and you already said Modim. What are you supposed to do? You go back to Ritzei, and then you continue. What about you say Baruch Ator Hashem, and you realized you've got to say Yalav Yavo? What do you do at that point? Do you conclude Hamas Shchanos L'Tzion? Do you say Lamdeinu Chukecho? You say Lamdeinu Chukecho, and you go back, and you say Yalav Yavo. But here he says, when do you go back and say Al Hanisim? If you realized it only after you said Baruch Ato, before you said Hashem. If you said Hashem, then you conclude Atov Shimchon Lahodos. You don't go back. Why? Conclude Lamdeinu Chukecho, right? But the Mechaber doesn't say that. Afil Nishka Ben Atol Hashem Choser. But once you say the shame, then you don't go back. Then you let Alanisim go. You don't go back. Okay? No, you don't. You go back to what's his name? You go back to Ritzei. So what? But go back to Ritzei. I understand. Go back. But if Lamdein Chukecho is not an issue, right? Evidently, it's not a hefsek. Even though Lamdein Chukecho is a posuk. It's a posuk in Tehillim, Lamdein Chukecho. Right? I think the difference is this. There, if you conclude Hatoshim Chuluchon No Lahodos, you're going to have to go back. So it comes out the bracha is a bracha she'enei tzricha. The bracha is in vain. It's not a bracha about Hatoshim Chuluchon No Lahodos. Let's even say Baruch Ato Hashem, and he would not conclude Lamdeinu Chukecho, right? Would not conclude that, and we'd have to conclude Hatoshim Chuluchon No Lahodos. He has to go back to Ritzei. So that means he's going to be saying this bracha twice. So the first time it really has no value. Wait. So there, so therefore, what's my choice? To conclude Lamdeinu Chukecho, or have a bracha which the bracha has no value. So of course you conclude Lamdeinu Chukecho. Here, if factually you forget Ala Nisim, you forget it totally. You don't have to go back. So here it's a question to say something which really doesn't belong there. What is Lamdeinu Chukecho? It's a pasuk in Tehillim. It has no relevance to Shemon Esrei. So if it's a question of saying a bracha, an unnecessary bracha, I insert that rather than repeating it. But over here, if you would admit it totally, you don't have to repeat Shemon Esrei. So what's the choice? Say something which doesn't belong in Shemon Esrei, right? Or say Lamdeinu Chukecho and go back. So we prefer, since Ala Nisim will not invalidate Shemon Esrei, if you should omit it, therefore, if you didn't say Hashem, you go back. Once you say Hashem, you conclude Atov Shem Cholochon No Lahodos. You following, Ernie? Okay, no, I know. Ernie works his way up. You know, it takes a while. Yeah.
Maybe, but according to this, even if you concluded the bracha before you say modim, you could insert Yalav Yov and then say modim. So
again.
If you concluded the bracha.
Again, you know just the halacha, what the halacha is. If you want to be a gabbai, you have to know the halacha. Not even a rabbi. Okay? You know, they used to say, you know, Ezra Torah used to send out a luach. You have a pocket, and you had one that just, in most shuls, had it hanging on the wall. If you remember many years ago. In Detroit, remember the long thing? So they said, we got to consult with the rabbi. They'd go to check, everybody was a rabbi. They would read, as long as you could read Hebrew, you checked the chart, you know, there's Torah law. Today, they don't have them in shuls any longer, right? Unless it's a shtibel. You're not going to find it in the back wall. You know, you have bulletin boards where you put a thing in, you don't find it. Okay? Okay? In the main shul or the Beis Medrash? The Beis Medrash. That's what I'm saying, okay? So, again, what's the halacha? If you forget Yalav Yav and Shemon Esrei, what do you do? If you stepped out, you have to repeat the Shemon Esrei. If you stepped out. No, Shachris Mincha. Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh. Shabbos, Shachris Mincha, you forget the Shemon Esrei, you step out of Shemon Esrei, you have to repeat the Shemon Esrei. So you go back to Ritzei. If you didn't step out, you go back to Ritzei. Hamvorachas Hamo Yisrael B'Sholom. You didn't step out. You go back to Ritzei. That's Shachris and Mincha. No, you repeat it. It's not a bracha Vatolo. It comes out. It's a bracha which was unnecessary because they have to repeat it again, right? Ma'ariv the Gemara says not, because you don't know it's Rosh Chodesh till the next morning, right? Because what determines Rosh Chodesh? They have to receive the testimony. Testimony can only be offered during the daytime, not at nighttime.
So, Rabbi, if you step out, the status of all the brachos you said in the Shemon Esrei.
There's a question. It's 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 a question. No, it's a question. It's a question. Does the Shemon Esrei have no value, or it has value? We once discussed this. There's a question like this. Interesting, Shiloh. You know, Tosa says, the Gemara says in the beginning of the Bezim and Aleph in Brochus, that, you know, when the Tan has an opportunity to educate you in other areas, and he's able to, as he discusses the subject matter, to bring in other subject matters, he doesn't miss the opportunity. So we're able to talk about many things. The halacha is if a person forgets to say mincha. What's the halacha? Not deliberately. Slipped his mind, you have to make it up. Make up. So Ma'ariv, you have to say 2 Ma'arivs. 2 Shemon Esrei Ma'ariv. First one for Ma'ariv, and the second Shemon Esrei is the makeup. Okay? You with me, Ernie? Okay, that you understand. Let's say it's mincha, was Rosh Chodesh. And you forgot to say Yalav Yavo. So you said the mincha, but you only realized Ma'ariv time that you've got to say Yalav Yavo in mincha. Do you have to say a makeup in Ma'ariv? Do you have to say an additional Shemon Esrei? The two answers in Tosfos. One answer says no. Why? Because what is the makeup? Could be the makeup is no better than what you said. I'm going to say Shemon Esrei, but I said that exact Shemon Esrei. The Shemon Esrei you're going to say Ma'ariv is going to be without Yalav Yavo. So it's and no better than the Shemon Esrei you said earlier, right? Was without Yalav Yavo. So one opinion is you don't repeat it. No makeup. Other opinions you have to make it up. No, definitely not. It's not Rosh Chodesh. You don't say Yalav Yavo and Ma'ariv. So Tzvi Pesach Frank explains what's the argument. You only realize Ma'ariv time. He said mincha. He forgot to say Yalav Yavo. He davened mincha. It's the same Shemon Esrei. Because there's a makeup. What does that make? You didn't pay your taxes on before the 15th, so you pay interest afterwards. Look, the whole thing's rabbinical. A makeup doesn't have the same value as if you would have said it in its proper time. Could I ask a question? Are you going to say Yom Chag HaMatzos Azeh? It's not Chag HaMatzos. How could you say it? Rosh Chodesh. It's not Rosh Chodesh. It's understood you can't say it. Right? Could you say it? I'm asking you. So that's the discussion over here. Is a Shemon Esrei with a Yalav Yavo not a Shemon Esrei? So if it's not a Shemon Esrei, you'll understand it now. So it's as if you didn't say Shemon Esrei. So the Chazal say if you didn't say Shemon Esrei, you have to say Shemon Esrei. So therefore you have to have a makeup. The other opinion is no, a Shemon Esrei with Yalav Yavo is a valid Shemon Esrei, except you have an obligation to say Yalav Yavo. You can only say Yalav Yavo within a Shemon Esrei. But when could you say within Shemon Esrei if it's still Rosh Chodesh? Once Rosh Chodesh passes, you can't say Yalav Yavo any longer. So if that's the case, there's no reason to make it up. Your Shemon Esrei had value. Why do you have to repeat Shemon Esrei if you omit the Yalav Yavo? Not because the Shemon Esrei didn't have any value. Shemon Esrei has full value, except you have an obligation to say Yalav Yavo so many times during Shemon Esrei. You didn't say it that many times, so you need the Shemon Esrei to be able to say the Yalav Yavo. So therefore, if you omitted the Yalav Yavo Mincha, did you say Shemon Esrei Mincha? You did say Shemon Esrei Mincha. So if that's the case, there's no reason to have a makeup. But if you say a Shemon Esrei, the Yalav Yavo has no value, since as if you didn't say the Shemon Mincha. So if that's the case, you have to say another Shemon Esrei, Ma'ariv time. That's the way he explains the two positions in Tosfos. Psak is we make it up. We say another Shemon Esrei. But it's better, the Mishna Berura says you should have in mind that if in fact you're not obligated, it's a tefillas nedava. Let's say a person wants to have an additional time, right? Because he has a request. You're permitted as long as you're able to be mechavein. But if the halacha is there's a question halacha, even if you're not able to mechavein, I have a reason, a legitimate reason to say another Shemon Esrei. So as long as you have that in mind, you will say another Shemon Esrei. It's better to.
With Yalav Yavo?
No, never Yalav Yavo. Never Yalav Yavo.
So what do we have?
You say another Shemon Esrei. You haven't. Firstly, the primary opinion is it's not a Shemon Esrei without Yalav Yavo. It's as if you didn't say Mincha. So that. But if you have an addition, and if in fact the halacha should be according to that other opinion that it does have value, I'm repeating it again just in case because there's that other opinion.
saying that extra small esrei. You want to.
No, but you don't have to add anything. You don't have to add anything. It's because it's to extricate yourself from this question of these two opinions. So that's the reason why he's saying another Shemon Esrei. Because in Tosas it's unresolved. No, normally, let's say you said 3 valid Shemon Esreis. You want to say 4th Shemon Esrei. Unless you can be mechaving from the first word to the last, you will not be distracted. You're not permitted to add another Shemon Esrei.
So Rabbi, in ancient times, when somebody was observing Pesach Sheni, that person, what kind of a Shemon Esrei would he say?
It was not Chag Pesach. It's an interesting question. I mean, let's say a person brought the Pesach Rishon. He Pesach, Korban Pesach, right? Let's see today. Today we don't say Tachan Pesach Sheni, right? But we don't say it's Chag HaMatzos. It's not. First, it's not Chag HaMatzos. It's not. Because it's only with the Korban he has to eat matzah. He eats chametz. I mean, he eats chametz. The one who brings Pesach Sheni, he eats chametz. It's not Chag HaMatzos.
So he would conduct himself just like everybody else.
Everyone else.
He wouldn't say anything special.
Correct.
It's not like Pesach.
Right, it's not. It's not. He's permitted to possess chametz.
You would eat matzah the first time anyway.
He eats matzah. It's like not having a korban, right? Correct. Correct.
The only prayer where you have no makeup at all is the Shema, isn't it? If you pass the time.
No, you could have. What about if you miss? Let's say if you get Ma'ariv, Mincha you miss, and you only realize Shachris. You can't make it up any longer. You can only make it up the next tefillah. Right. I mean, there are many things. Okay.
Rabbi Quinn gives senses of why we would say that Hashem would conclude one day with half a verse is not. But with that Yalav Yov, if you save it saying, and then you finish the bracha before Modim, you can still insert Yalav Yov. So even if
No, because then you go back. Let's say it's a Ma'azishkan Osul Tzion. Then you have to go back to Ritzei.
But they bring down here in Rashi that if you didn't say Modim, you just said Yalav Yov, and then you continue with Modim.
Yalav Yovel before Modim, without going back before Ma'azishkan Osul Tzion. Okay, that's not the way the Mishna Berura rules. But arguing with Rabbi Art Scroll here. Okay, let's see the Chosel